Call 1-888-FARMERS to switch, and you could save an average of $470 on your auto insurance. That's a lot of money in just a few minutes. With savings like that, you could be lounging on an impractical amount of ornate and overpriced throw pillows you bought for your couch. But you won't, because you're better with money than that. That's why you're calling us in the first place. Call 1-888-FARMERS to get a quote today.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Based on average nationwide annual savings survey dated July to December 2020. Underwritten by Farmers Trucker Fire Insurance Exchanges or affiliate. Products not available in every state.
Now it is Friday Bowl Action Trends, brought to you by OffshoreInsiders.com and MyBookie.ag. Promo code for the maximum benefit and bonuses that they allow is Duffy, D-U-F-F-Y. Again, that's MyBookie.ag. Joe Duffy's picks absolutely on a roll. 193 and 126 in football since preseason, college, and the NFL. You got 2 picks pending as we file this report. 4 winners in college football for the Thursday portfolio. You got, for the Friday portfolio. You got 3 sides and 1 total at OffshoreInsiders.com. Now let's take a look at some news and notes. We'll start it out with Wake Forest versus Texas A&M. Wake Forest -3, 65.5. Big travel disparity here. Wake Forest going 69 miles. Texas A&M 952. Texas A&M with their interim coach Jeff Banks after Kevin Sumlin was fired. Wake Forest offensive line is undersized, but a lot of experts do believe smaller teams at the point of attack will benefit more so from the rest in between games. A&M has 4 wins while trailing in the second half. That's very important if you want to bet this on the live line at any one of the thoroughly vetted sports books that you can find at OffshoreInsiders.com. Aggies will use a 2-quarterback system, the proverbial pocket passer, and a mobile runner. So, again, they're a little bit tough to prepare for. Wake Forest averaged 33.7 points per game in their last 13. Now let's get to some of those ATS trends. All records are against the spread. Wake Forest 7-0 following a spread loss. The Demon Deacons are 8-2 against teams with a winning record. Texas A&M 5-11 after a straight-up loss of more than 20 points. They're 16-36 following a spread loss, 3-11 in the bowls, and they have dropped 5 straight to the Atlantic Coast Conference. Kentucky against Northwestern. Northwestern is a 7.5-point favorite with a total of 51. Kentucky has a -3.9 against the spread margin, 3rd worst of any bowl team. Again, the against the spread margin, some of you know it as the sweat barometer. It is how a team does relative to the point spread, how much they do and do not cover by. Many sharps do believe, again, a long time off in the practices are exactly what underachieving quarterback Clayton Thorson needs. He at Northwestern really had a disappointing year relative to expectations, but a lot of people say that guys like him benefit from the time off, some of the sharps I speak to. Kentucky's defense allows 201.78 rushing yards per game. The Power 5 schools, they were okay against the run to the non-Power 5 schools, but certainly to the so-called what once known as the BCS conferences, they really struggled. Favorites of 3.5 or more in minor bowl games on at least a 7-game winning streak are 13-7. That would favor Northwestern. However, bowl teams in reverse skids of at least 9, going with the colder dog, is 3-0 all-time in the bowls, and that would benefit Kentucky. Now, what do we mean by that? Northwestern's won 7 straight. Kentucky has dropped 2 straight, so that is a net difference of 9. When you have that much of a net difference, going with the colder underdog is actually the good play. Kentucky traveling 179 miles, Northwestern coming 409. Strong consensus bet is on Northwestern. Now, again, some ATS trends brought to you by MyBookie.ag with the promo code of Duffy, D-U-F-F-Y. Kentucky is 8-20 on grass. They are 1-7 overall, 1-6 following a straight-up loss of more than 20 points. The Kentucky Wildcats are 0-6 after allowing more than 200 yards rushing in their previous game. Meanwhile, Northwestern 7-0 following a straight-up win. 6-0 following an ATS win. Continuing with the Northwestern Wildcats trends, they're 16-5 overall, but 21-8 after allowing more than 20 points in their previous game. Again, all these records are against the spread. Now let's take a look at Utah State and New Mexico State. Utah State -4, a total of 63.5. New Mexico State, their first bowl game in 57 years. So, again, motivation should not be a problem here. Mountain West favorites of 7 or less have actually gone under 21-4 in the bowls. New Mexico State ranks 4th in the nation in passing. Utah State freshman Jordan Lee playing his best football late in the season. New Mexico State with a travel advantage here. They're only going 242 miles with Utah State going 659. Now with ATS trends, the Aggies have covered 9 out of 10 on grass. It's a Utah State Aggies. So we have 2 Wildcats and 2 Aggies here. New Mexico State, that is, has covered 9 out of 10 on grass. And they're 1-5 after allowing 100 yards rushing in the previous game. Now for the Utah State Aggies, they're 16-5 in Friday games, 9-20 overall, 3-10 after allowing less than 170 yards passing in the previous game, 1-10 after accumulating more than 200 yards rushing in their previous contest. USC and Ohio State. Ohio State is minus 7.5 and 65. USC is the 4th luckiest team in the nation with 4 of their wins by 5 or less, 3 by 3 or less. Ohio State was the first team out of the playoffs. Will that be a letdown or motivation? Is what the Sharps will be debating. USC is traveling 1,220 miles. Ohio State 929. It's a little bit different than when these teams would meet in, say, for example, the old traditional Rose Bowl. Small across the board consensus for underdog USC. We say across the board, it means all of our Vegas offshore and outlaw sources do say that there is a slight lean towards USC. Usually when it's a small consensus, sometimes one sources will say one team won the other. Remember, it is rare, though, when a consensus favors the underdog, but it's a small one here. NC, and we'll get to some trends there in a moment. Southern Cal, 16-34 their last 51, following a straight-up win. They are 1-4 their last 5 bowl games, 2-8 overall, 1-6 on field turf. Ohio State 10-2 versus the Pac-12. By the way, all these records exclude pushes. Buckeyes 6-1 on neutral sites. Ohio State is 3-7 against teams with a winning record. NC State and Arizona State. NC State minus 6.5, 59.5. Arizona State going to be traveling a mere 336 miles compared to 1,618 for NC State. And again, these trends are sponsored by MyBookie.ag. Use the promo code Duffy for the biggest bonus they allow. Also shows your support of this podcast because, again, guys, the bookmakers help make this possible, and you can show your support by making sure you tell them you heard it at offshoreinsiders.com with the promo code Duffy, and make sure that they will make sure you will get the biggest bonus they allow. NC State is 6-2 in bowl games, 0-4 though outside the conference. Arizona State 7-2 overall run, 2-6 bowl game run, 2-9 on turf. Please, folks, if you like this information, another way to show your support, give us likes. If you're watching us on Periscope, give us a heart. Share this video, comment, embed, retweet. If you're hearing the simulcast, the podcast on iTunes or Stitcher, please give us a 5-star. And most importantly, visit offshoreinsiders.com, the best handicappers and thoroughly vetted sportsbooks. Why don't you read the Why Us? That'll tell you why we are the best handicappers. We don't just say it, we prove it, and it's all at offshoreinsiders.com.
It's a new year, and with T-Mobile, it's not about how far apart we are. It's about how close we can be. So we're bringing out our best deal. Right now, get the iPhone 12 on us on every single plan with eligible iPhone trade-in.
So I can FaceTime with my sister in Savannah.
That's right, the iPhone 12 on us on every plan. All on America's 5G leader in coverage. T-Mobile.
With 24 monthly bill credits and a new line plus tax. If you cancel credit, stop and balance on required finance agreement may be due. Contact us for well-qualified buyers. Qualifying consumer plan required. See coverage and offer details at T-Mobile.com.